Howdy and welcome to the Mighty Muddy Chuck channel. I's a Chuck. Over on the National Enquirer, they did a thing on Carrie Fisher, and they speculated that her going back into the movie industry and working on the Star Wars movie franchise may have contributed to her getting back onto drugs and contributed to her death. I don't really think that it's that simple. You go back to 2005, there was a body found in her home. The man was Gregory Stevens. She woke up next to him and he was dead. The media refers to him as a political fixer. He had a job in the first Bush White House. But if you read fully on his life, it becomes apparent that he actually, most likely, this is just opinion. let me put that caveat in there. This is just opinion. But the odds are probable that he was a CIA agent. So she woke up next to a CIA agent who happened to be a gay Republican. In addition to that, Carrie Fisher was connected to a drug rehab group, and she took money to allow that group to house drug addicts they were trying to rehabilitate, get off drugs, and that's, it's a noble cause. Some of the people that was on her estate, they had ambitions to become movie actresses. There was a woman who was on Carrie Fisher's estate at one time, though when the woman died, she was not living on Carrie Fisher's estate at that point. But Carrie Fisher was tied in with the organization that was responsible for that young woman that was trying to get her off drugs, and the young woman died from a heroin overdose. And the organization and Carrie Fisher were both facing a lawsuit over that woman's death. The woman's mother was suing Carrie Fisher and the organization, and that lawsuit was still pending. Carrie Fisher had tried to get her name removed from the lawsuit because the woman was not on her estate at the time of the death, but the judge would not remove her from the lawsuit. So Carrie Fisher's name was still on the lawsuit. The judge wouldn't remove Carrie Fisher's name from the lawsuit. So that was probably weighing on Carrie Fisher as well. Now this part, it kind of goes more into the area of conspiracy theory and speculation. But before I get into that, let me say that the part that's not conspiracy theory and not speculation is that the CIA in Hollywood have a relationship. The CIA uses Hollywood for propaganda films. That's not conspiracy theory, that's a fact. The CIA also has been known to use Hollywood celebrities as assets together to gain information, because these celebrities are able to get into parties and into relationships and into situations that an ordinary CIA agent would not be able to accomplish. So at times, the CIA does use Hollywood celebrities as assets to gain information. That's not speculation, that's fact. The speculation was Carrie Fisher an asset to the CIA? Had she ever been used as an asset to the CIA? To suggest that she had been, that's speculation. I can't prove that. I don't know whether other people can prove it or not. I can't prove it. The death of Gregory Stevens, if he was a CIA agent, which, that's just opinion. There's other articles that kind of strongly point in that direction. If he was a CIA agent, that is one connection, that's one link that kind of connects her back to the CIA. Also, where she housed people on her estate through that drug rehab group, that could potentially give cover to the fact that her estate was also being used as a safe house by the CIA as well. In other words, people would not really question these people that was on her estate because she was connected to that drug rehab group. So the CIA could easily use her estate also as a safe house. That's speculation, pure speculation, just speculation. Perhaps, maybe. In addition to that, many people are aware of the fact, and again, this part is fact, the CIA has used electric shock treatment as a method to brainwash people for mind control purposes and to erase memories they don't want people to have. Instead of having to kill the people to silence them, they just zap part of their brain so they don't remember what they don't want them to remember. And it's also a mind control technique to brainwash. The CIA does use electric shock treatment, or has used it in the past. I guess it might be on the realm of speculation to whether they still do it or not, but they have done it in the past. That's not speculation. So the fact that Carrie Fisher had received electric shock treatments, which, yes, she had, mental issues. She was not ashamed of those mental issues. She was proud. No, but that's the wrong word. I shouldn't say proud. She was open about it. Let me put it that way. That's a better way to put it. She was open about her mental issues, and she didn't make it a secret that she had had electric shock treatment. Now, this is just speculation, because perhaps maybe she had connections back to the CIA, and then the CIA has used electric shock treatments to erase memories as well as for mind control purposes. It's speculation, pure speculation. The CIA may have done that to Carrie Fisher. The CIA may have been behind her electric shock treatments. Just speculation. Now, I don't want to go further and to try to establish some conspiracy theory that she may have been murdered because of her CIA connections. I don't want to go that far. I don't want to suggest that. I don't want to speculate on that. My point is Carrie Fisher had a very interesting life. Her death was tragic. And I think that there was a lot more involved to what happened to Carrie Fisher than simply she could not deal with being an actress again, being part of that Star Wars franchise again, and the pressure got her back on drugs. I don't think it's that simple. I think there's a lot more to it than that. I don't want to go so far as to suggest that that she was murdered or that Debbie Reynolds was murdered. I don't want to go that far. But I think articles like was put out by the National Enquirer is basically just a fluff piece, which kind of hints that somebody may be digging in places. And so the powers that be just want to put that in the mindset of people that it was the pressure, the pressure from Star Wars got her back on drugs. And to me, that's unlikely. There were drugs in her system. Was she back on drugs? See, I don't want to suggest that she was murdered. I don't want to suggest that. But you can't just assume that she got herself back on drugs. You can't assume, you just jump into the conclusion that she did that to herself. That's speculation too. To speculate that's to suggest that is just pure speculation. They don't know how the drugs got into her system. Now, they may have done research to where she bought the drugs. They may know where she bought the drugs. They may actually have the information to prove that she bought the drugs and ingested the drugs herself. They may have that, and they just don't want to put it out there. The bottom line is Carrie Fisher's death is more of a mystery than what the media suggests. Carrie Fisher's death is more of a mystery than what the media suggests. Now, I don't want to suggest anything more than it's a mystery. It's a mystery. It is a mystery. And that Debbie Reynolds died so close to the death of her daughter, to the time of her death of her daughter, it could be as simple, that Debbie Reynolds had high blood pressure, she was grieving, she didn't take her meds, she had a stroke. It could be that simple. That could be a simple explanation. Or it could be as complicated as that there was something nefarious about Carrie Fisher's death. Debbie Reynolds highly suspected it. She had information, and, I don't want to go so far as to actually even say those words. But you kind of wonder, don't you? Anyway, that's all. Thanks for watching and listening. I appreciate it.